very short one, and like about 3 hours. So yeah, we'll rest after the weekend.
Just because you were eager to get going on the Houston prep, or
There is always a lot to reflect on. I wanted to rewatch the game. I wanted to prepare also like the meeting. Like there is always like two school of thoughts. Like, do you move on quickly? You don't look back at the game. You focus on the next one. So far this season, we've always looked back at game and try to offer guys like a little bit of analysis and a little bit of reflection on how we can improve and move forward. So that's why like the nights are short when we have only 2 days,
Mhm.
but I think it's worth it. It's worth it. The guys are always very open, very keen to receive feedback, and that's a group that has demonstrated as well that when they receive feedback, they want to get better and they want to use it in the next games.
See anything that changed your mind from what you told us last night?
No, not so much. I think uh, very good intent, very good effort. The guys are fighting. The guys are like have a strong mindset. In those games, like I've got the feeling like the fatigue give us like the feeling that we want to do more. We want to do a little bit more. We want to defend like and help a teammate a little bit more. It's the derby. We want to, and this affects like our level of energy and affects our decision making when it's time to, okay, like to press, like are we pressing the right guy or are we doing like an extra yard and then we're doubling up on someone and we're freeing up a man, or like are we forcing the play forward because we feel something and we want to hit that pass that could be like very interesting if we reach, but that is not necessary. So I think there is that feeling that sometimes in those games, like a little bit less is more, and that we need to stay focused on like what we wanna do and what we wanna achieve. And I think yesterday there was a lot of eagerness to do a little bit more, which like played against us, which made us like probably a little bit more fatigued during the game and affected our decision making and our execution. But again, like you can never fault this group for like giving their all and fighting and showing like 200% commitment like in those games. So that was a little bit like the reflection. And on that note, like I wanted to add how I think everybody is so grateful for the fans that traveled yesterday. It felt really good to see that section completely full and those people wearing red. So like it's a good feeling when you travel away in those games. Like I've been lucky enough to be a part of like a lot of different rivalry and to see the fans yesterday in the corner pushing us for 90 plus minutes was
Does that situation, how the fatigue or whatever last night, does that kind of force your hand on Saturday on rotating the lineup?
we'll see. We'll see. Like at the end of the day, like recovery is an interesting thing. Sometimes when the mind says something like that dictates how the players are also feeling physically. So we have 48 hours to assess as good as we can, like where we're at physically. Of course, like there might be some changes here and there, but I don't wanna rush into any conclusion before speaking with the players, seeing them, and feeling a little bit how they're feeling after the past 2 games. And being back home is also like a different feeling for us.
Houston, obviously, it's pretty tight at the top of the conference, but Houston's in first place right now. Does this rank as a big game
Yeah,
for you
it is a
guys?
big game, but every game is a big game for us. Like we try to address every game as a big game because we want to do well. We want to be well prepared. We're fighting against ourselves in the end, like it's our own expectation, our own standards every single time. And of course, like when you look at the run they've had recently, like that you're hosting a big team this weekend, and we have to be ready for it.
Yeah, with a team that hasn't allowed goals in a long time, what do you got to do to generate offense against a team like that?
Again, like we need to look at them and have like a clear plan of how we wanna do things. I think we've had 2 different games like in San Jose and Kansas in our creation. So I think there's a lot to look back at against San Jose. Maybe some stuff we need to address like from yesterday in terms of the wide areas as we spoke about last week. So we're gonna show up on Saturday with a couple of ideas, and we're gonna try to maximize our chances in those areas. But you know that it's not gonna be only about attacking; it's gonna be about the full package. Being able to deal with transition, they're quite good with that. Being able to build from the back, they can also have like higher press sometimes. and also like us being able to defend properly. So we're gonna have to be sharp in all these areas.
Okay.
We talked, back in the when early part of the schedule, there was a lot more schedule congestion. We talked to the players, we talked to you, and it seemed like that kind of 3 full days of recovery seemed to kind of be like that line where you guys were comfortable with players being able to go back-to-back games. Does there need to be a little bit of a reevaluation of that after kind of what happened last night?
The context is so different, like with each like of those scenarios. Like if you play Saturday and Wednesday home, like it's different. We played West Coast, we came back and we played like in a short trip yesterday. It's so difficult to draw like conclusion. We're trying to get to an understanding of which players can deal with it, which player cannot. But again, like you take those 2 games now, you play them in October, it's maybe not the same because of like the conditions, you know. So I try to be careful with making too many assumptions like without like any scientific evidence, you know. Like we have our own eyes, we're trying to assess, we're always asking questions after those games on how the players are reacting, but there is so many factors like the game plan, how we're building. Are we building with a single pivot, with a double pivot? Did we play on the West Coast? Are we on the East Coast? Are we playing home? Like those things like are like coming into the equation, and like I don't want to draw any conclusion that are just like based on my own feeling. We need a little bit more into it. So that's where we're working with the performance staff to a little bit more clarity, how the players are reacting to those travel, to those loads, and how they can approach games with a 3 days interval, like compared to only 2 days.
In previous games, when Eddie was able to kind of find his game, his touch numbers get up to like 60 or 70, maybe just like 60 minutes or so. In some of these games recently, it's been more around the 40s. Is there a drive to get him more touches? Is that something that you guys find, is that when he gets the ball more on his feet throughout a game, they're finding more quality?
Yeah, I think each game is different. I don't know what was the number for San Jose, for example, but I thought he was very efficient yesterday. Like maybe we struggled a bit more, like to reach players in between the lines. The marking of their 2 centimeter against him and Conrad or Sangbin at times was like quite tight. So then that creates different picture for some other players. So I think like each game is very different, and depending where he plays, like he played maybe a little bit more central against San Jose, maybe a little bit more wide yesterday. A couple of games ago, it was also a little bit like wider. So of course, like we want to get those players like more on the ball. But there will be games and scenarios where they won't, and it's a matter of like, can we create those scenarios for some other players if he's not getting the touches, or else can we free him up by adjusting a little bit the setup?
One change you will have to make, Chris Durkin will miss the game Saturday. Is Matan able to play enough minutes to step into that role?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Him and Carlo are getting more minutes, so like it's very positive. I think Mati is ahead of Carlo in terms of his fitness. So I think we're getting closer to that decision of like having him like able to play like a little bit longer. So again, we have like one more day to assess. He's also played like twice 30 minutes with a lot of travel. Like it's a hard thing to plan for minutes for guys when they are in preseason mode, and that we play like every 3 days. So we have to make sure he's feeling good and see how the rest of the group is, and we'll go from there.
Was having Mamadou instead of Falou on the roster just based on what they've done in practice?
Yeah, we keep looking at guys and how they push themselves, how they push each other, and yeah, we make decision like based on the environment, and that's the reason why.
Is Songbin really coming into his game now? He seems to be much more, well, he's certainly playing more now. Just how has his game evolved over this season?
Yeah, I think took a little bit of time to understand the structure and the expectation. I think we're at a place now where you can see a little bit more creativity in his game and a little bit more versatility, which I enjoy seeing. Like you can tell that he's rich in understanding of like what we expect in different games, in different setup, and him like making his own decision a little bit more. So like I've been quite pleased with what I've seen. We're still working on like remaining consistent, like over like course of like numerous game in a row, but also like across the course of the 90 minutes in the game. But his flexibility and what he's been able to do for us, like is definitely like an interesting tool to have.
Anybody else gotten sick?
I'm trying to think. Apart from Mackay at the minute, maybe a little bit the staff, but that's it. So
Is Mackay good to go? I saw him out
we'll
practicing
see.
today.
We'll see. Like he was out there today. Like yesterday was still like breathing heavy. So we have to look at today and tomorrow how he is. But we need guys that are 100% for the weekend. So we'll make the best decision for him and for the group.
We'll go to Jen, then finish with Rocky.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about mindset. I feel like over the season, my like performance, well, we didn't get the result or got the result, but maybe the performance, but I feel like you've been really consistent with being proud of the team with mindset. What specifically, I feel like mindset's such a big word and it means different things to different people. What does that mean for you? Or is it failure recovery? Is it handling mistakes or handling criticism? What's a good mindset that you see in this?
That's a very philosophical question, this, and I don't have my dictionary to answer it either. So, no, it's interesting. Like for me, I see the desire to apply themselves to the plan, but also to do well for them and their teammates. And what I've seen most recently, even more, is like the togetherness and like the feeling of like working for each other, like I think the San Jose game was like quite a good feeling for that. Like you see the group like coming tighter and tighter, everybody understanding their roles, their responsibilities, that those things might change from game to another one. But at the same time, like everybody's putting the team first, everybody's doing what the team requires from them. So that's the mindset. And the mindset is also like yesterday drawing a game and not being happy with it and expecting more from ourselves. So that was a little bit my message this morning. Like we need to like step back and also not get confused between what's our goal, what's our standards, what's our expectation, and what's our ambition. And sometimes those four words get mixed up. So I wanted to lay it out again this morning for the group because our ambition, I think, like the 29 other team, is to win every game. But the reality of our expectation is how we compete, what we want to do at home and when we play away. But also, like our standards is like our mindset and competing in every game, which the players have done like an amazing job at all season.
You talked about the differences that Houston's made since they've made that jump. Since the last time you guys faced them, what are the kind of biggest improvements that are jumping off in the tape in that space of time?
That's not too much for me to tell. Like I think they have like a quality team, like they're well organized. I think they rely on their strength as well. Like they've got guys up front that can hurt you like in transition. They can play, they can also counter. Like I think they're quite versatile in what they can do. So credit for the work they've been doing all season. I think they put themselves in that position where they're at the top of the West, and that's credit of the work that has been done over there. Now that being said, like it's a good challenge for us to try to unrail a little bit what they've been doing and to focus on ourselves. And I think we're always up for a good challenge. There is a good one ahead of us this weekend with two teams that played on the midweek and on the weekend. And I'm excited to see how we show up with the support of our fans.
You talk just there about having like team meetings, things like that. Roman's always very honest and has very forthright with us. How useful is that honesty from your captain in the locker room?
Yeah, it's great to have. Like I love like speaking with the guys as well for that reason. Like there is no hiding, there is no like we're not trying to address only the good stuff and hide from the bad one, Like I think there is like a genuine honesty like within the group. And that can only be created like with people that are taking ownership and people that are also in agreement to be held accountable. And you create that environment by accepting mistakes, by using mistakes and failure as a great tool to learn. And I think that's what we've been able to create with this group is like we're never pointing at fingers. We're never looking at those games where this is not good. We're always looking at ways to improve and to show up the next day with like another experience that we can learn from and that can make us better. And when your captain is also like one of the guys like driving the standards, I think it helps massively. That's the reason why also he's got the armband. And I think the leadership group has done a great job giving feedback to each other, giving feedback to me and the staff as well, because it goes like always for as much as we want to improve on the pitch, like we also are looking for ways to improve as a staff every single day. So I've really enjoyed the collaboration because I see it as that, like collaborating with staff, with players to create an environment where everybody wants to be the best version of themselves.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
We'll move on, but to other, but what did you think about last night's game? What was missing for you guys last night?
I mean, we looked it back or watched it back today, and I think there was the scenarios we spoke before about. We didn't execute as well as we normally do, so unfortunately, it was not our best game. But there were the chances we looked at before, but we missed the last pass. I would say we missed the last like technical like things. So in fact, it was not our best game, but it was a away game, a draw in a rivalry match. And if you have the chance of something, I think when you score this goal 5 minutes later, they scored the equalizer. I think we're gonna win this game, but no matter what, I think we didn't deserve to win it yesterday.
Is there any encouragement from knowing you didn't play your best game and went on the road and still got a point? The team has progressed to a level. This team has lost that game many other times.
I mean, there's two ways to look at it. Normally, I say a top team win this game as well. But as you said, like we progressed in a way in the last couple of months. So I think in the beginning of the season we would lose this game. Now we draw it. We had the chance to win it, but to be honest, they had also the chance to win it. Sometimes you feel that's not the best day. You felt it out there, and then you have to keep the simple things right. You have to do the simple things right. Just play the way we normally play. Don't overforce something. And we just made yesterday our life much or less easy than it should be, and that was the case yesterday.
Is this a good lead in then to the Houston game? You're down against the team in the Western Conference. You got the bad game out of the way.
I mean, a win would be nice. Would have been nice yesterday. But yeah, it's a nice game playing Houston at home on the weekend. First in the West. They come out of a win in Vancouver. So maybe it's a good reminder where we're coming from, that these games we have to be more focused. I think, as I said, there were the chance to win this game when we would do it better, but we didn't do the best game yesterday. So we wrap it up today. It's a new game coming up in 2 days, so yeah, focus on that now.
I don't know how much time you've had to look at Houston, but what do you see? There's a team that they got 5 straight shutouts.
I mean, I came back yesterday at 2:30, fall asleep at 3, and my son wake me up at 6:30. So I'm just taking. We have tomorrow the day to look at Houston. We're gonna train it. We're gonna look at it, and then we see. I mean, we had them here in the Open Cup. Very straightforward. It's a good team. They have also unbeaten streak. So it's a nice game to play at home. It's always nice to play against the best team because they're first in the West, so it's the best team at the moment. So we want to beat them and yeah, go up there.
Let's go, Rocky and then Jen.
Couple moments of you directing traffic from the back line yesterday. What was, you gesticulating wildly? Was that more about the player not being where you expected them, or was that about Kansas City maybe putting a guy where you didn't expect him to be, and maybe the guy not adjusting to get open the way you wanted?
No, it was a mix of both. Actually, it was exactly the scenario what we looked at, but we weren't in the spaces where we should have been. So I'm trying to redirect. Sometimes there must be a movement to put another player out of position to get another player free, and we didn't execute that well yesterday. So there were a lot of space in the middle. They're trying to come a lot to press us man on man, but there was a space in the middle, so we had to force normally play into the middle out wide, and then they get in trouble, but we didn't do that well enough. So sometimes I'm trying to redirect our players, like. But yeah, as I said, like if we would have done that better, I think there will be a lot of, or there would have been a lot of chances to win this game. But it's a progress, as I always said. Like sometimes it's just a draw on the away games. That's always good. But honestly, we won how many games we won now? So everyone is expecting maybe a win. That's always a good feeling if a group believes that they go in every game and win it, and they are disappointed if we don't win it. I take rather this feeling than losing every time.
It seems to be a few games, expense the World Cup break, where you've been able to find those open spaces in the middle, and at times you were able to find that threaded pass. But once you actually get the ball into whoever it is in the middle, the plays don't come from that. So how do you guys start executing those passes up the middle and then kicking it out wide or progressing up forward? How do you execute that better?
I think we're a pretty good team in build up. We're coming always in the space we wanted to, but we're sometimes missing the last pass. So we're trying to get our players in their qualities. We had Cello with the qualities in between lines, turning, playing the final pass. Now we have some new players with Matti, with Carlo. They need to adapt to the system. That's normal. That needs time, but I can see in training how they adapt already. And we need to put them in their biggest strength. So I think Carlo is it's as a really good player. Fuck, I don't know the word. Extraordinary player. Yeah, I want to go high now. If he sees me. No, he's a really, really good player. So we need to put him in the spaces he needs to be. And that's our responsibility. And then I think we can create a lot of momentum, a lot of space. The same with Matti. He's good in tight spaces. He's good in a one-on-one. He's good in turning. So we need to put them in the spaces where we want to have them. Edu is the same player. Good in spaces. Wants the ball maybe more on the feet, maybe a little bit lower. But we need to get them a quality on the pitch. And if we do that, I think we can see what they can do, and then it's gonna be better than last game. But to be honest, some games are like this, and you have also say like Kansas did actually a good way how they did it. So
Jen.
Timo, because you mentioned your son, I just thought it's a little bit more of a life question than a soccer question, because there are people in all kinds of jobs who travel, right? So I'm thinking of going from St. Louis out to the West Coast, back to St. Louis, out to Kansas City. It's not super far, but you're still, it's travel. You have gone from being a single man and then to being married, and now you've added a child. How has that changed how you manage your time yourself? Because as much as we love our kids, they do not care what clock we're on at that time.
you see all the wrinkles I got now. No, don't say I was a single before, because my wife would say
Okay.
we would have a problem.
Fair.
No, we married now, so that's good. No, it's different. But to be honest, like when he's waking up me like in the 6:30 today, that was tough after 3.5 hours sleep. But it's like smiling, bouncing in bed, jumping. It's something that you cannot explain if you don't have kids, right? It's just gives you energy, but on the other hand, you just say, "Oh, man, please, just sleep another half an hour." But it's responsibilities of a dad. I take that. I knew what is coming for me if I have a kid. So I'll take this responsibility, because my wife was now 2 days alone at home. So I have also to take him, give her some free time. That's also important. So yeah, I'm just happy. Sometimes a little bit more tired. Maybe the guys feel it when I'm more like a diva because I didn't sleep that much, but they know it. Everyone knows it, that sometimes gonna happen. But no, to be honest, it's a nice feeling to have him. But time management, yeah, it's now I'm going home. Then my wife can do her stuff. So it's just a time management, a little bit scheduling. It's more like a job now, I would say, at home.
We'll go to David Solomon and zoom to Jeremy and back to Tom here.
Well, Jen actually sets up my question. She mentioned kind of on the personal level, but still 3 matches, 8 days, 3 different venues, even without the extra grind of having a young child at home. Just what are the keys to being able to withstand the grind, especially when you go 90+ minutes in all 3 matches?
I mean, it's easy. It's part of our job. I mean, to be honest, everyone every worker has their private life and their life at the job, so everyone has to be focused on the on when they're at work, and then they have to be focused when they're at home. It's nothing different with us. We just have a more travel, I would say, and we have a more like body focused work. So that's we have to focus on that. It's a mental process. It's just about routines, how to get your body right, how to get your body in a good shape to perform every 3 days. I mean, I always say to the guys, there are players in the world, they play 70 games and they go to a World Cup afterwards. So they can handle it, we can handle it. So it's just about being professional, being taking care of your body, do the extra work, do the treatment, do the stuff. Also mental wise, switch off at home. So that's the keys for me. I think everyone has to learn their own routine in this kind of game. But as I mentioned always, I rather play every 3 days than train 7 days. So for me, it's fine.
Jeremy.
Timo, you talked a little bit about the grind, right? When you're talking about playing these mini games in 3 days, then the lack of execution last night, how much of that is due to the fatigue, that mental fatigue of playing so many games in such a short amount of time?
I mean, when you're tired, you have to execute the simple things right. That was that is what big teams are doing. They execute right, even if they're tired. They're doing the easy things right, and it's all about. If you want to be a top team, you have to win tired on the road. That's what we want to be. So we have to learn from that. As I mentioned, there were so many solutions yesterday we didn't find. So to be honest, it's part of our job to play every 3 days, and if you want to achieve something special, you have to be competitive in every game, even if it's 3 days or every 3 days. And if you want to go higher in your career, you will play every 3 days. So you have to adapt to that as a player, as a staff. It's not easy always mental wise to get ready again, but I think that's a big strength of a player to handle that every 3 days to play, being ready, being available. So that's what we have to do as a player, and as a staff, it's the same. Preparing every 3 days is not easy. Don't have the training on the pitch. Don't go, just have walkthroughs instead of a whole training week. But as I said, I will not complain about that. It's nice to play. It's always nice to be out there, and yeah, I'd rather take that.
I think I ask you this every time you have 3 games in 8 days. Your body holding up okay? Because you've been through a lot this year.
Yeah, at the moment I'm good. Yeah.
Good.
I just need a 2 hour sleep, maybe longer this evening. But for the rest, I'm good. I'm good. As I said, I like it. It was not the farthest travel we had, so came back yesterday late. But I think I'm ready tomorrow to go through everything, then take a recovery session as well, and then go for Saturday. That's all good.
Would you resent like being a sub down the 88th minute just to break, how important is it to you that you play every minute of the game?
It's not that important for me. It's just trying to help the team, trying to lead them, trying to be also an example or a role model how it could be if you just take care of your body. That's for me an important thing. Showing young guys, especially what it's about as a professional. It's not about always on the pitch, also off the pitch to be in the best shape. I think we have a guy with Baju who's helping a lot. He's also like doing that for us, giving us extra input, and I love to talk about that with him. Edu is very professional at that, talking about with him a lot of stuff. I mean, I was yesterday 2:30 in the ice bath at home, so I think that's necessary to play, to perform, to be healthy. And as I always said, a big strength of a player is availability for a coach, to be there whenever he needs you, and that's my goal, to be there.
Go out and buy bags of ice, or you just have?
No, I have a ice like with a chiller and everything. Yeah.
Wow, nice. And how would you say? How do you say extraordinary in German? It sounds like it should be like 27 maybe.
For me, it's a difficult word sometimes. Außergewöhnlich, I would say.
We'll finish here with Raquel. You guys do a lot of
stepping up to take away plays instead of just kind of sitting back and letting it happen. Do you just have to take the moments like a winger beating you guys like Harris yesterday? Is that just like something that happens when you play such an aggressive style? Or just what's the mindset there when you guys are constantly taking those big risks of stepping up and leaving potentially space behind?
It's always a risk reward. And if you see how many times we gain the ball, we get the ball, I think the risk is worth it. And there will be times where like a winger take you 1-against-1, and they always in an advantage because they can choose where they go, what they're gonna do. It's a big space. It's gonna happen. We're trying to eliminate as much as possible. But if that's happened and 1 out of 10 situation and 9 times we win the ball, there's a high reward on everything. So that's the way we want to play. And sometimes as a defender, you have to be there. You have to try to force him to one side and trying to win your 1-against-1. And sometimes you will lose it, but that's part of the game. I think every big player, every big defender will lose a 1-against-1. Everyone lose a 1, and I lose a lot of 1-against-1 in my career. So everyone will do that. But the reward we get out of this playing style is so much higher than the risk we take. And I think you see the confidence in this team and doing this system, the way we play to perform every 3 days. And as I said, it's a progress. Yesterday we could maybe defend it better in a couple situations, but at the end they had not that much chances. Although we trying to press them, even we were tired. So as I said, the risk reward I think is the most important thing, and for us as a team, it's a balanced thing, and I think we do it quite well.
Thanks, Timo.
Thanks, Timo.
Thank you.